Hi. So last week I ended up reading this book, Sapiens, by Yuval Noah Harari, and I'm sharing some of my insights related to this particular book. Now this book is exploring how Homo sapien could grow and kind of rule the whole earth. What was so special about them? Now, an interesting example which is coming from this book, if you put one chimpanzee and one human on an island, in all probability, chimpanzee will outperform human. He has more skills to survive on that particular island and he will kind of rule that particular island. But at the place of putting one human and one Homo sapien and one chimpanzee, if you put 1,000 Homo sapiens and 1,000 chimpanzees on the same island, the 1,000 Homo sapiens will be able to rule that particular island with ease. Because unlike Homo sapiens, chimpanzees cannot create system, cannot create rules. They can't communicate in the way at 1,000 people scale. They might be able to do it for 50 to 100, where the face-to-face and physical interaction and knowing each other exist. So the chimp leader knows everyone in the group. They also lives in the group. But when the group starts growing, they cannot maintain that particular connect in a group, and the group end up splitting and they can't have a one way of thinking or one way of doing things. Now, Homo sapiens can do this very effectively. They discovered something called knowledge. They discovered something called creating myths or systems or making some thoughts and making each other believe on it, which helps them to collaborate at such a mass scale. And their collaboration and ability to communicate and create imaginary world help them in growing and ruling this particular planet Earth. Now, before, like 200,000 years ago, when the Homo sapiens species come into the existence, they were also living more or less like chimps. They go for finding food, they eat, sleep, there was no family, they live in a group. Nobody is associated with a particular person. The group survives on it as a group, like mostly the chimps lives in. Over a period of time, some way of owning the space started coming in. Maybe there was a time where they started thinking, rather than going for searching for a food, can we do something for a while so that food is stored nearby? So they started domesticating the animals, sheep. So they made some source of their food living with them. And as soon as you have something, you also start creating your ownership on it. And small families or small units started emerging. Now, the Homo sapien who has more animals is considered higher in the group than the one who has less. And this how the search of showing myself separate from others somehow got triggered in Homo sapiens. And then the agriculture revolution came in. This got converted into the amount of land one owns, the amount of grain one gets it, and this keeps growing and growing. What I see after reading this particular book is that as a human, as a Homo sapiens, we are driven by two things, looks like. One is that how do I look better than someone else? So I have a sense of showing myself as a special one. And once I get that sense, I want to get more and more, and I want to ensure how do I look better even in future. And sometimes this need of looking better in future went away even after death. How would I look great after dying? And this created a sense of growing, a sense of pursuing something which went in today's century, which went beyond physical means. It goes into ideas. See, if I want to look better than someone else or superior than someone else, biologically, as a human, there is nothing which can make me superior than someone else. Now, there was a time in a history where Homo sapiens were trying to put it biologically, like the whites are better than blacks, the Aryans are better than someone else. But over a period of time, right now, everybody understands that biologically there is nothing different. So what we talk about is most of the people who create division is more about at a thought level. They are coming from a different culture, they believe in a different God, and that's why we are different, we are superior, we are more cultured, all those things. which is difficult to find, like those roots of these are more at a thought level. So Homo sapiens started creating realities on their thoughts, and those thoughts initially started dividing those humans from one to another, and then later on even created imaginary virtual future realities. And that is what is getting explored in this particular book. This book looks at the subjects like God, religion, and other systems like capitalism, money. So it's interesting to know that money is a myth, and how as a human we buy the future. An interesting example is if you go to a chimp and say to him that, okay, the banana you have in your hand, give it to me. I will give you 10 bananas after 1 year. Or maybe the God will give you 1,000 bananas after you die. Just give me this banana. Chimp will say, go, I don't give my banana to you. But incidentally, you can do this with Homo sapiens. You can take the banana, promise him something for next 1 year and maybe after life, that okay, you give a banana to a God today, after life you will get 1,000 bananas in the next life. So it created, like Homo sapiens were good to create these imaginary world. Now over a period of time, what I am observing and also reflecting from what this book is saying, this thought reality is becoming far, far bigger than objective reality. So whatever is really in existence is becoming less and less important in our life, and these imaginary things, these myths are kind of overtaking our way of thinking. Say, in an initial word, I feel rich when I have a more animal or more land or a grains. Now what do I do right now? In today's world, people feel rich when they have a more money in their bank. Now what is money? Now, if all the people in this world go out and want to buy land against that money, can they get it? Or they want to buy a greens against that money which they have in a bank? The economic system of this world will not be able to sustain that. It's like when I was reading it, I got surprised to understand that hardly 10% of world's money exists in a physical format. So it's like, if the $100,000 are there in the form of physical, you might be doing a business of a 1 million, because a lot of things are happening in the banks where there is no physical exchange of money, and you just keep running for that particular number, and that is what make you feel that you are rich, you are great, whereas physically there is a limited things in existence. So if everybody starts asking for a return for that particular physical space, the whole financial system will start collapsing. Now you may wonder, sometimes some economic things happens and stock market starts collapsing. And you may wonder, how can one company can collapse from its share value from A to 1.5 or even 20% of their share value within a 6 days or 7 days of fluctuation? How could this happen? If there is a company which has a stock market rate, if it is supported by the physical, real things they have, whatever happens, it cannot fluctuate. But you see these kind of fluctuations happening every day. You see the overall stock market crashing by over a period of time, 40%, 50%. How come? Because this whole market is based on a concept of a future. That you invest something, there is a future valuation, there is a probability of this company will return a lot of money, it has a lot of potential, and everything is bought on the basis of some future possibility. There will be a growth after some point in time, and everybody keeps buying that growth. And as soon as somebody put a question mark on that growth, the confidence starts collapsing, and since there is very little thing to support that imaginary projections, as the confidence goes down, the financial system starts collapsing. And we are living in the world where all these systems are primarily based in our thoughts. So overall, this is like, I know it's like lot of stuff. It's really a very, very thick book. But yes, the whole, if my takeaway, if I just summarize in a small word, it's all about that we are hardly trying to secure our future, and we don't want to accept that human being is just like any other biological creature which just come into the existence and goes away. And if the the planet Earth goes away, overall in an overall universal context, it's a very small event, just one planet got destroyed. It's just like that. But we as a human, we don't want to accept that, and we want to create our secure present and future. And since in physical world it is not that much possible, we create in our thoughts, and the life keeps moving on. Maybe going forward, like even some of the Homo sapiens, the current development, we are trying to bring something at a physical level also by using some nanotechnologies and all the biometric and other stuff of changes, that okay, we can have a strong arm, or we can have other stuff, so that physically also at some point in time, objectively, we are a little superior than someone else, and we are creating like a superhuman. But yeah, at some percentage it is linked to the physical being, but still a lot is in mind. Now, how do you make use of it? Maybe you start challenging your own assumptions, because we take these systems like God, religion, money, democracy, capitalism as if they exist in a real world. But books like these makes you question that they may just exist in common belief of set of individuals, and they exist because all of those individuals believe in it. And there could be a moment when they stop believing in it, and the system will get collapsed. And we have seen such kind of collapses in our modern world. Yeah. So go ahead and generate your own insights by reading this particular book. Thank you for watching.